This is Mark Anthony with Mercury Time Price Analytics with our pre-open video for Tuesday, January 7th. If you saw the video last night, we talked about our Mercury dynamic pivots, which are long cycle algorithmic pivots. They are incredibly compressed. They're not on this particular chart. This is our ES March chart. Let's go back here quickly and show you what we're talking about. So here we can see these Mercury bands, and there's 6 of them that are between 32.24 and 32.37. That is as tight as these get because these look back many, many weeks. And to have 6 of the 8 Mercury bands in a 13 to 14 handle range is extremely rare. What that tells us is when you get that type of compression in these Mercury bands, you're going to get a strong move one way or the other. Doesn't mean it's going to happen today, but you're going to get a strong move either up or down out of these bands. Now let's go back to the March chart. Because on our March chart, we have our proprietary Mercury dynamic pivots. What's amazing about the dynamic pivots is when we run these algorithms, it not only gives us a price level, but it gives us a name for each level that tells us the type of characteristic behavior to expect at that level. There's no other system to my knowledge that does that. And if we take a look at these 2 thick white lines here, this is our trend momentum trigger at 32.46 and our trend baseline at 32.44.35. This is the initial battle zone that ES and NQ fight over at the beginning of the day. Well, we've already come down through it. Doesn't mean we're not going to go back up. But I want to point out that before the open of Globex, we put out the Mercury bands that I just showed you a minute ago, as well as these upper extensions. And I can't tell you how many times, because it happens very regularly, that ES will drift up right into these extensions. This was Mercury band upper extension number 1, 32.52.91, drifted right up to it, came down a little bit right into the European Open, came back up and the second time and failed. Now, when you get a drift up to these, this is a logical place to put on a short with a stop on the other side. So I'm short at 32.52.5. Took the first third of my profit at 6, took the second third of the profit down here at 32.38, 13.14 handle, middle. And why did we do that? Because price came down into our trend confirmation pivot. So when price comes down into the trend confirmation pivot, especially when you've got the price reflex pivot right there also, well, again, the pivots are going to do what they say they're going to do. You're going to get a reflexive bounce. Doesn't mean you're going to get a Super Ball bounce, but it means that these areas are going to be short-term support. So if you're short, as price comes down into those pivots, you take partial profits. Now, a couple things that are interesting. Our system of algos allows us to generate a single daily bull-bear pivot several hours before the market opens. And for ES today, it's 32.44.53. It's coming in the same line as the trend baseline. So it's a great help for traders because it's just one simple binary price point all day long. And by the way, if you're an SPY trader, we do the same thing for SPY. So if you're trading options, that information is a big, big benefit. A couple other things I want to point out. We've got a congestion zone here at 35 to 36. We've got our back test pivot here. We've also got a price acceleration pivot. The acceleration pivots, when price comes down into those, it will go through quickly. Now, in this case, you'll likely get a bounce at the back test pivot. But anytime you've got an acceleration pivot sitting by itself, like we do down here at 32.26, if price goes into that pivot, it will accelerate through. Sometimes it'll stop briefly, take a little bit of bounce, and then that second interaction with it will break strongly. Our swing trend pivot is down here today at 32.19, but you want to keep an eye on this area here, 32.31 to 32.33. That is the big price congestion zone for today. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 if you count this algo pivot within just a couple handles. There is actually 2 more pivots that printed prices within this range. I didn't put them on the chart because it gets too cluttered. But what's beautiful about our system of algorithmic pivots is that it gives you precise indications of likely movement from pivot to pivot to pivot. And none of these are hand-drawn. Every pivot you see on this chart is an algorithm. We run these a couple hours before RTH opens. The methodology subscribes a name to each pivot level, and that's what these things do. It's remarkable. Now, we don't have our proprietary long-short trade oscillator on here. The oscillator got short at 32.49, so already you're looking at 11 handles to the positive. Now, the reason we provide subscribers a combination of an automated oscillator that gives you the indications for algorithmic entries and exits, both long and short, but the reason we give you these pivots as well is if you'd taken this trade, which fired a couple hours ago at 32.49, you don't want to risk having the market open in RTH and whip back up and take all that away from you. So that's why we've got these algorithmic pivots that give you plenty of opportunities. As in my case, short 32.52, took +6 on the first third of the position, plus it was 12 or 13 on the second third, and I've still got my runner left. If you haven't been to our website, it's www.mercurysignals.com, mercurysignals.com. We've got a free webinar coming up. This video is being recorded on the 7th. Next free webinar is the 8th, Wednesday the 8th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And if you can't make that, we're probably going to have another one later in the week as well. Also, lastly, we've got a special 62% off our regular subscriber rates on our website. 1 week free trial. We don't bill you anything until after that week is over, and you can cancel at any time. You don't have to be a member month to month. We let you literally cancel your subscription any week because we bill weekly. So if you have any questions, you can go to our website or email them to markanthony@mercurysignals.com. As always, thank you so much for your time. God bless you. God bless your family. Hope to see you back here soon.